Good evening, good evening, good evening. How is everyone doing this year? Let me send this text out. I told you when I got the information on the Corporate Transparency Act, I would do a live. So they finally released some information, so I'm doing a live. But how is everyone doing in 2024? This little bang. I need to get her together. Okay. So I will be back in the morning for my morning motivation. I look blurry. Anywho, I'll be back in the morning for my morning motivation. I may be in Target. You know, those pink Stanleys get released tomorrow. It's a Target Starbucks collaboration. And I'm a Stanley fan, so I think I need to be at Target at 7 a.m., in line, trying to get me a good little Stanley. But before I get into this Corporate Transparency Act, I have a Becoming Challenge coming up on January 15th. If you comment challenge in the comments, a link will be sent to you. We're going to work on making 2024 our best year spiritually, physically, mentally, and most of all, financially. So I'm going to give you like a roadmap, some tools as to how we can kind of, map out 2024 to be our takeover year. I look blurry, y'all. I feel blurry. But anywho, let's get into the Corporate Transparency Act, okay? So for those of you guys who don't know, or if you've seen the videos, you're going to be fined $10,000 a day, $500 a day, the Corporate Transparency Act, end all your LLCs. Normally I get myself together on a live. I have not. Anywho, it's not about me. So I wanted to kind of break down, because before on the website, I cannot write on my live. I can't type in the comments because my live will go off. But the website's going to be FinCen, so FINCEN.gov, G-O-V. Before on the website, they just had like a little bit of information. So now they have more information on there. So I wanted to go over what the Corporate Transparency Act was. Okay. So the Corporate Transparency Act, or you may have also known of the beneficial ownership information. All this is telling the federal government that you are the owner or are one of the owners of an LLC or a corporation, okay? I always say if you file your tax returns, if you file your tax returns, they already know this, but there are certain states that don't list on the Secretary of State's website the owners of an LLC. Okay, most states will have the owners, but some states don't list the owners. So technically, if your name isn't listed anywhere and you want to kind of walk on that gray line, you can own an LLC but not report the income on your tax return if you weren't trying to do good business. Okay. You may have heard of the term money laundering. You may have, so when people are trying to hide from the federal government the fact that they don't own an entity, and they're also trying to hide the income from said entity, that is why we now have the Corporate Transparency Act, or the beneficial ownership information form. Okay. So the beneficial ownership information refers to identifying information about the individuals who directly or indirectly own or control a company. Okay. So the federal government wants to know who owns what. Certain states that don't list who the ownership is, it's kind of like, well, then how do I know who the owners are? So this is why this act came to fruition. Okay. Now, I have been saying information from the website, but it has changed. So, where's the date? Okay, I'm going to read it directly. When do you have to file this report? A reporting company created or registered to do business before January 1st, 2024 will have until January 1st of 2025 to file its initial beneficial ownership information report. Okay? So the Corporate Transparency Act is the rule of law. Okay, the form or the report that you're going to be filing is going to be the beneficial ownership information report, or the BOI report. So if you have filed your LLC in 2023 and earlier, so 2023, 2022, 2021 and earlier, you have until January 1st of 2025 to file your initial beneficial ownership information report. I am assuming this report will have to be due every single year, but this one, since it's a new rule, this is the first year that you have to do it, okay? Now, earlier on my lives, I said that if you file your LLC as of January of 2024, you have 30 days to file the report, but I see that this has now changed on their website, so let me read it to you. A reporting company created or registered on or after January 1st of 2024 and before January 1st of 2025 will have 90 calendar days after receiving notice of the company's creation or registration to file its initial BOI report. This 90-day calendar deadline runs from the time the company receives actual notice that its creation or registration is effective, or after a Secretary of State or similar office first provides public notice of its creation or registration, whichever is earlier. Okay, so when you file your LLC, depending on the state, some people will put the date that the LLC was filed as the actual date that you submitted the LLC information on the website. Some states will put the date that they actually received it and processed it. Okay, so if you submit your LLC application online, you're not the only person submitting an LLC. So there may be thousands in that one day who have submitted your LLC. It may take your state a week or two to actually get to your file to process your LLC. So some states will use the actual date that you've submitted the application as the date that your LLC was formed. Some states will say, well, hey, you submitted on January 1st, but I didn't get to it until January 17th. So that day is going to be January 17th. But regardless of the date on the LLC, 9 out of 10 times, once the LLC is formed, it may still take a day or two for the Secretary of State to email it to you or to email it to the third party who formed your LLC. So if you hired me, if you hired InkFile, if you hired LegalZoom, if you hired Zen Business to do your LLC, Texas may have formed your LLC on Monday. It may have had to get in the queue, but then InkFile didn't receive it till Wednesday. So your 90 days starts from either when they send you notice or they posted that your LLC is effective. Okay, so you have 90 calendar days to file your BOI or your beneficial ownership information report, okay? Anyone who registers their business in 2025, they only have 30 days to file this report. So because if you filed your LLC before 2024, then you have a whole calendar year to get your BOI or your beneficiary ownership information in. If you file your LLC in 2024 this year, you have 90 days to get the form in. If you file it next year, you have 30 days to get the form in. So those are when it's due. Oh, they want you to create an account. Okay, here we go. Bam. Okay, I'm trying to download the form so I can tell you guys what's on the form. Oh. They're saying that my Adobe is not up to par. Hold on, see if I can get on my phone. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it together so I can kind of tell you what they want to know when you file this form. Okay, bam. Well, honey, my phone don't have the right Adobe, so I don't know if it's my Adobe because I can open up everything else, or if they don't really have this form out. Has anyone already? If anyone's in the comment, has anyone filed the report yet? Or no? See. Okay, let me just update my Adobe. If y'all got time, we got time, right? So how do I get Adobe 8? No, I thought I had my stuff. So for those who are just logging on, we're talking about the Corporate Transparency Act, or the Beneficiary Ownership Information Report, or the BOI report, okay? Baby, I already have Adobe. Let me try to go. Hold on. Let me Google. Let me try to get this another way. Beneficiary ownership information. So you're just logging on. If you filed your LLC last year, you have until 2025 to file your BOI report, okay? So, we don't have to close. I've seen a lot of reels saying, close your LLC. Like, this report has nothing to do with just regular business owners, okay? It's for the people who will file. Everyone who's talking about getting a shell corp. I want a shell corp. I don't want anyone knowing my information. And it's fine if you don't want people knowing your information, but you're supposed to still be, reporting the income. But some people are being a little, not doing what they are supposed to be doing. Okay, so that's why this has come up. Oh, girl. See, if you just read, here we go. Okay. So the first question it's going to ask is, what type of filing is this? Is it your initial report? Is it to correct a prior report, to update a report, or a newly exempt entity? I did not go over that. Well, I'll go over that next, because they had a section for, let me write this down because my ADD, for an exempt entity, to figure out who constitutes being an exempt entity. So this will be your initial report. Okay, we'll do initial. Next. Okay, so you're going to have some kind of ID number called a FinCEN ID. FINCEN ID number. Okay, so you'll have to request to get this ID number. They want your the reporting company legal name, so your LLC or your corporate name, and then if you're using a DBA, an assumed name, a fictitious name, if your business goes by a different name, they want that. Okay. They also want your EIN. Your EIN. I got too many numbers. I'm trying to make up some stuff just to get to it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, here we go. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They want to know what country you formed your entity in, and then what state did you form it in. They need a current address. And zip code. Okay. They're asking about an existing entity, reporting company. Check if existing reporting company as of January 2024. Okay, then they're going to want to know, okay, so we got to get a FinCEN ID. So if you have a parent subsidiary company, then your parent company would have to file this report for all your subsidiaries, because it's asking for the company's FinCEN. And then now they want your name, first, last, and your date of birth. They want your address, and they're gonna want your social, your passport number. Like they want your driver's license or your passport number. Baby. And you have to upload whatever is your identification type. So if you're doing your license, they want you to upload an image of your license. Baby, y'all serious? Oh, honey, I know I'm about to do all that. So what I will do is, and then you have to give that's for the owner's information, but they aren't asking for your social. They did all of this, and they're not even asking for your social? Well, wouldn't you think that would be like the one thing you would want is someone's social? Well, they tripping. Well, they just want your state ID, and you have to upload an image of your state ID or your U.S. passport or foreign passport. That doesn't make any sense to me as to why I'm thinking they're going to want your social. Okay, well that wasn't that bad. And people can still scam, because all they got to do is get a fake ID. Like, the federal government did all of this, and people can just go get a fake ID. If someone is already, if somebody is already skimming, like because y'all did all this due to the money. Baby, let me go work for them, because the financial crimes department is just not together. Well, let's go ahead and read the exempt entities. So they can still just get a fake ID and just submit that. Anyway. Okay, a securities reporting issuer, a government authority, a bank, a credit union, a depository institution, a money service business, a broker or dealer in securities, securities exchange or clearing agency, investment company or investment advisor, a venture capital fund advisor, an insurance company, a state licensed insurance producer, a Commodity Exchange Act registered agent, an accounting firm, a public utility, a financial market utility, a pooled investment vehicle, a tax-exempt entity, something like a nonprofit, an entity assisting a tax-exempt entity, a large operating company, a subsidiary of certain exempt entities, and an inactive entity. Well, honey, what's a large operating company? A trust does not have to report. A sole proprietor does not have to report. I'm trying to figure out, what are they calling a large operating company? There's no, is there, and there's no link that will break down what the requirements are to be a large operating company. I'm still dead that they aren't requiring a social. Like, well, y'all did this whole website for what? Okay, y'all gonna have to get this, oh, you're not. An individual or reporting company is not required to obtain this ID number. I just don't understand. Like, y'all did. Okay, so all they're gonna really want is your company's name, address, EIN number, and then your name and your ID or passport to fill this form out. So I still don't know how they're gonna track anybody. But oh, let me tell you why they started this. Where's the information on why they started this? Okay. Why do companies have to report the beneficial ownership information to the U.S. Department of the Treasury? In 2021, Congress passed the Corporate Transparency Act. The law creates a new beneficial ownership information reporting requirement as part of the U.S. government's efforts to make it harder for bad actors to hide or benefit from their ill-gotten gains through shell companies or other opaque ownership structures. Okay, so if you are receiving large information from a shell corp or an entity in the Cayman Islands, you formed a company in another country trying to alleviate yourself of the U.S. jurisdiction, then they wanted to make it harder for you to hide the income from those companies, although they don't want your social. Okay, so if you want this live and you follow me, they're not even trying to get you. They just having you report. So that's it. You have a year. You have a year to file the report if you formed your LLC before 2024. If you formed your LLC this year, you have 90 days once your LLC is formed to then submit this report. So how we always talk about, how I always talk about how you have to file your annual report for your LLC. Just, we'll have to just add this beneficial ownership information report. So now we have two reports that we have to fill out for our LLC or a corporation. You know, this one is not regarding making it active, but, you know, we don't want to have no issue with the federal government. If you have an LLC that is inactive, meaning you haven't filed your LLC annual report with the state, and so your LLC became inactive, you are not required to fill this form out. However, if you reactivate that LLC, if you fill out the form, you pay the fee, and now it's active, you are then going to have to file this BOI report just to be in compliance. Okay, so just baby, I will. This is what I'll do when I post this live. I'll just type in the website as to where you can go to get the form. And then what I may do, I might just, you know what, I'll just put a link. I may just put a link. I'll put a link on my Instagram page to get the form. And then if people are still kind of confused or don't want to do it wrong, once I'm able to download the form, and like I just have to, I mean, I read it online, but it doesn't make any sense to not want anyone's social, right? So like if I'm hiding money, maybe they're just saying they're hiding it in the entity. Like maybe they're just looking at it from the entity's perspective. But if you're wanting the ownership, you will want to tie me to the entity, which what ties me is my social. I mean, anyone can get an ID, but once I download the form and I make sure that as I'm reading it, I understand what it's saying. I will offer the service of filing this report, just so if y'all like, you know, it's too complicated or I don't want to do anything with it, I will offer that service, you know, just to get everyone's forms, you know, submitted. And then I am going to research like I don't get what are the requirements for a large operating company. I want to get all the requirements for those who are exempt, who don't have to file. So then what I'll do is kind of just have like a little cheat sheet on my website as to who needs to file and who doesn't need to file, so that, you know, everyone understands from the website what's done. So you don't have to just listen to everyone saying, if you're going to get fined, I've gotten so many, I'm going to be fined $10,000 a day. Like, girl, no. Like, why would you be fined $10,000 a day? Like, no. You're not going to be fined nothing. So all you have to do is get your form in a year. I would say just knock it out now to get it over with. If you form your LLC now, you have 90 days to get the form in. I will put the link to this where you file the form on my little link tree, because I think that'll be easier than just typing it in. And then I will probably in a week or so, I'll just offer the service of just filing the form for you. Okay. So that is the Corporate Transparency Act of the new requirement of filing the Beneficial Ownership Information Report, or the BOI. So I read it off the website. So now everyone understands, you know, what this is. They aren't coming for you. You know, they are not, you know, trying to take your corporation away. They are not trying to take nothing from you. But there are certain people who hide money in shell corps and different things. And so they're just trying to make sure that everyone who owns part of an entity that they may not know of, that they now know who owns it. Okay. So that is the Corporate Transparency Act in a nutshell. I will save this live, so if you just kind of came on late, you will understand what it is. And then I will link this form in my link tree. Okay. Everyone have an awesome night.